Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, the Rev Dude, coming at you for another exciting episode of King Me Rev's High Podcast. And today, let me make sure I plug the merchandise. And of course, it was signed because that's what you do, baby. We are going to be coming. There you go. Got to get a nice big picture of that on screen, and I love it. We have our very first. Well, I need to come up with a better term because my brain last week with Zach the Zote was all we said was repeat offender, and that sounds offensive.
Yeah, maybe that's not what it is. Maybe it's not where we should go.
We have our very first repeat guest here on the channel.
There we go.
The one and only I Blackjack, baby. Woo!
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Repeat offender.
Repeat offender. There you go. Once again, thanks for being here back at it. It was nice seeing you last night at Rebel Spirit. That place is always exciting. I know they were doing it big because it was the end of the season, I guess. Is that the proper term here? And then they're taking a break for the summer.
I think it is. I don't know if that's because I heard that, but I also thought we were supposed to do base brawl, so I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything that I don't know.
Right.
But I think it's supposed to just be the 2-year anniversary. So
Gotcha.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah, I thought there was supposed to be a date. It looked like there was supposed to be a date for July 25th. But you're not the first person I've said about like season finale taking a break for the summer, but we'll see. Right. It's not in my control.
Yeah, exactly. It's way over our pay grades, guys. What they do or what they don't do is up to them. Sounds like
I just do my stunts out there. I'm not running the place.
Exactly.
Maybe if I get the belt soon, maybe then I'll run the place. But I haven't yet cashed in my roster reset contract, so we'll save it for then.
Yeah, no, that would be something else, man, for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good time seeing you anywhere, whether Rep Spirit, Beyond Wrestling, etc. The Open, and it's great to see so many BioPro guys there as well. It's always nice to see just a good collection. There was NEPWA students, etc. So I can't say that I don't know. The whole thing with Jacob Sharp was kind of shocking. They really got me hooked because he came out, he had that crazy match, and then he goes and he has a whole thing with Rich Palladino, of course, talking about how I'm going to be back and I'm going to win this all. And then he gets beat up and he doesn't even make it to the thing. And I was just like, what? He just did the whole. I was flabbergasted.
And then out comes Miles Hawkins. I mean, he sees the opportunity, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, clever man on him for sure. But my brain was just like, could not believe what was going on at all. So, well, good on them. There's not too many things these days I can get swerved myself, as Vince Russo would say. So, good on them for for getting me. Getting me. And well, the thing is especially like so my daughter JJ has her wrestling family, and he's Uncle Jacob. So we were very excited for Uncle Jacob to come back out and do a thing and maybe get another one of those sweet 5-star. He does the shooting star press, right? And
I can't do that. So
he does a pretty sweet shooting star press, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Miles Hawkins did what he did, and good luck on all that. That was wild. Yeah. And then you had your match with Gibkey, right?
Yeah.
Jersey.
I mean,
Jersey.
Worst state by far. And I mean, there's a lot of bad states out there, but I don't think it gets worse than Jersey.
It was kind of me and JJ and I noticed something. I mean, granted, there was a lot more people than usual, at least on the general audience side of things. It was kind of shocking because most of the matches, it felt like the audience was split. There were sometimes people were booing Gibke, and then there were some people who were cheering Gibke and had Gibke signs. And last time we were there, you were tagging against Gibke, and everybody was booing him. So when we showed up this time and people were cheering for him, we were like, "What? Where were these people last time? What's going on?" Like,
And that's something I really noticed after. It was like, if let's say, if you were facing, if you like when you come through the entrance, this side was all for me. This side was all for Gipke, and both of these sides were split. So I think
yeah,
it was perfectly 50-50 last night. And
right,
as a babyface, I don't hate that because then sometimes you got to overcome adversity, which isn't the worst thing. I think
yeah,
it tells a better story because not all heels have to be fully hated. There's some likable heels out there, but as long as
yeah,
you're still getting some heat, then you're still doing your job.
yep, yep.
So
No,
I
I
thought I
agree.
thought last night that was a great match. I'm sure me and Gibke will run it back very soon, probably at the next show, from what I've
Yeah,
heard.
no, it was definitely a great match. But it was definitely it was like I said, it was definitely the match where JJ and I, that's when we first really noticed like the 50-50. And then after that, we noticed it still in certain areas was certain people rooting for heels versus faces. And then my brain almost felt like, was there a survey I missed? Did they just like separate us by do you like the heel and do you like the face?
I don't know. Gibke has his fans. He
It does.
does. Yeah,
And
it's a
that
big deal.
that swole, man.
I mean, hey, I thought I was in pretty good shape, but you can't beat them all when it comes to that.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
man. So swole. We did, and I know you would have seen them from last time we were there at Rebel Spirit. JJ got some pretty good pictures of you and your tag partner, which I am now. Anya Rune is her WWE name, I want to say now.
Hmm.
Since they're not allowed to use their old names, they've had to change over
I think it's
to
a stupid rule, but whatever. I'll
right,
respect my thoughts on that.
right.
I can't imagine what my name would be, and I don't want to think about it. I'll just wait till it happens.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. So, and it was hilarious because I was trying to tag her last night and in the dropping the pictures, and I had a brain fart, man. I couldn't remember what her WWE ID name was, to be honest with you. I was like, it's
I think her account still shows up as Ericademia.
she actually changed it. She actually changed it recently. So there was like a day where she posted and it was still Erica, and then the next day I noticed it was the Anya Rune or Anya Rune, however you're supposed to say it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, but I just my brain goes to the Erica one, right? It just and
Yeah, it's easiest. Yeah.
it's where my brain goes. And I have a brother. He's his dad's My Hero Academia is like his favorite show of all time. So I've been like, boy, do I have a wrestler for you? um, right.
I
and
mean,
but at least we tagged you guys, and we still have plenty more, man. I literally had to go through 20,000 photos in the last couple of weeks, and
Jesus.
it's been I've had to do all kinds of crazy stupid technical nonsense to try to process them in a timely fashion. So and that's not even going to include the whatever she took yesterday. I don't know how many she took yesterday. For
Jeez.
sure. So I'm
I mean,
sure. Yeah, and it's almost like baseball when it comes to photographs, because you could take, once again, you could take 10 pictures and normally 3 are good, right? And that's pretty good, right? Like in
yeah,
baseball, if you're hitting 3 out of 10, you're a god. So
that's how it works.
that's how it works, my friends. Whew. But yeah, so it was definitely great to see everybody last night. And I know that we made some people's days. We showed up with some treats for some folks. We'll have to start expanding the list
Mm.
and getting other people's favorites. we were the morale boosters.
Every show needs one.
Someone's it's a fun job, but someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Right. So JJ's aunts, Kayla and Julie, both love Diet Coke. And so when we showed up, we brought them a few Diet Cokes, and they were very excited to see their Diet Coke and us.
Yeah. If you know Tiger Shea, that motherfucker's a Diet Coke enthusiast.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink water. He only drinks Diet Coke. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, that can't be fucking healthy, dude. Here's a glass of water. I want you to have this.
Please.
Water. Drink your water, kids. It's good for you.
Drink your water. Look at this man. He's got 3 liters of super water all over the place, guy. Let's get it together.
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. I've seen him a dozen times. I've even seen him at I saw him and Brett and Rain. And I want to say Tunis, and if I don't know, can't remember if anybody else was there. But during Rest of Us, there was also New Order Wrestling going on in Agawam.
Yes,
and he was a ref there, of course. And so I feel like I've seen him a dozen times, but I've never actually talked to him. So I've been dying to have a conversation with him, just because you and Lauren and so many other people have just talk about this guy and they love him so much. Drager,
No.
So
Tiger's the best. He trains with us, and early on in his training, Drew texted the bio group chat is like, if anyone's interested in reffing, hit me up. Most of your training would be directed towards this. He still trains as a wrestler, of course, but all of his focus on reffing, and he took it up and he's been killing it. He's been getting bookings everywhere. And also, to add on to your point, NOW, our good friend John Allen Bano has a huge hand in running that promotion. So who knows? I might be on there someday. He's talked to me about it. It's I could definitely see myself being on that, but everyone in bio has a huge hand in NOW. So
right. As of recording this, yesterday would have been the episode with Corey Von Quest. That guy's the best, who runs the video production for NOW. And I'm pretty sure I just saw yesterday the breadwinners are going to be there, if I'm not mistaken, which is very exciting. We went to NOW. I'm going to be honest with everybody. There was a ton of wrestling going on, and I really wanted to go to Rest of Us because it was 75,000 people in Worcester for that weekend. But we went to NOW specifically for, I came up with a term last night on the drive home, because I've been wanting to figure out a term for this, and I finally did. And I'm gonna start using this title, JJ. So JJ's goat and savior, Shannon Levangie. I'm gonna start using that as my title.
Okay.
We went to NOW. 92% of the reason why was for Shannon Levangie. I did also want to. PJ Moon. PJ Moon was making his debut as a ring announcer, and he did the guest spots at the Open a million times.
Still does it all the time.
Still does it. And the next day he actually was able to do, I think it was Masterclass. I want to say it was Masterclass at the they ran all those shows out of the Worcester Market. He got to be the ring announcer for Masterclass. I want to say that was the show, because I want to say there was 3 or 4 shows. There were so many shows that weekend, and we were super excited. I was super ready to go, and then I was like, "Oh, and we went to that, and then we actually drove from Agawam an hour and a half to see the second half of the Rebel Spirit show that night. So, which is the same one I've been talking about with you in the tag match with Anya Rune, and I don't know what Notorious Mimi's new name is. I'm never gonna.
I think it's Sloan Jacobs, because I'm 90% sure that was because she was signed before, and I think that was her name before. So I think she just reverted back to her old name when she was with WWE previously.
So there was that whole mixed tag match and stuff. That was that night. So good stuff. You know, there's a lot of good people over there for sure, and it was
Fun house show match that night.
yeah.
I was surprised Dustin and TK Orion weren't the main event, given it was a huge grudge street fight match.
Right. I was thinking the same thing, but I kind of was biased. And if anybody's watched the episode with Corey Von Quest that would have just dropped yesterday, that's what they did. They actually, NOW has a street fight title, and Fly Nine Noriega defended his street fight title against Daddy Cat, or he called Cactus Cat. I'm sorry, he called himself Cactus Cat. He pulled out his Cactus Jack attire for this bout, and so going from having the street fight be the main event to have it be like middle of the card somewhere, of my brain was just like, it was kind of confused at that point. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I also got to laugh at Corey because at one point he said, hopefully these guys don't get anywhere near us. And then they proceeded to come all the way over to his station and Fly Nye threw Daddy Cat all over, I would say, Corey Von Quest merch and table where they were set up doing their commentary. So he jinxed it. He jinxed it, man. That was wild.
Yeah.
That was wild, boy. So, but yeah, man, definitely thanks for coming back again. I've been trying using the terms sophomore surge, sophomore jump, you know, because so many people talk about the sophomore slump, but you're only going up in the world, my friend. So and kudos to you, right? Kudos to you. I'm speaking of your kudos, and I mean this genuinely, sincerely. I've heard this man, when it comes to critiquing people, I've heard him critique himself to a horrible extent. Last time you were on the podcast, you had an upcoming match with Donovan Dijak, whom shortly after that, he was on the podcast and he was singing your praises to high heavens. And I was like, wow, I've never heard say nice things about himself, let alone anybody else. So kudos to you, sir. Flowers to you for impressing a man like Donovan Dijak, because I can tell you from experience that's not easy to do. Okay.
I impressed him. I mean, I remember the first thing I said to him that night was, I've had what did I say? I think I was like, yeah, I've had 72 matches. And he's like, okay. He's like, all right, I wonder if I'll have to carry this guy through. And, you know, I was in the ring and he comes out through the curtain. And I can genuinely tell you that's the first time I felt fear seeing my opponent enter the ring. I was like, fuck, I'm going to get my ass kicked tonight. So naturally, in the beginning of the match, he kicks my ass. And it was, you know, definitely the greatest beating I've ever received. But I think what really impressed him that night is that I gave it back to him. I didn't like bury myself in the corner or anything. When he gave me a hard shot, I gave him a hard shot back. I was laying my shit in. You know, I think that's really what impressed him. I was talking to him afterwards and he said his favorite part of the match wasn't like the falsies or anything like that, or like, you know, the high spots, or what his favorite part of the match is if you watch it back, there was a part where he was beating me up on the outside and then I start fighting back right in front of people. And we're just like giving each other overhand chops, hard forearms to the face. You know, I gave him 3 straight hard forearms and then he choke slams me on the apron. It was just, I watched it back and I'm like, yeah, honestly, I think that was my favorite part too, because if you see the people who are up there, they're seeing like real shots and they're going crazy. It was great.
So, man, I mean, that sounds fantastic, to be quite frank with you. It does make me, I had a question in mind, but what you just said made me think of something else, to be quite frank.
You can ask
Do you
both.
watch? Yeah, okay. Do you watch your stuff back often?
Yes.
Brilliant. Because, you know, when I had the, I should say, luxury of picking the ear of Justin Roberts when I was in Las Vegas. That was like one of his biggest things, biggest pieces of advice to me was watch your own stuff back as much as you can. to critique yourself and see what you're doing right or wrong. And like, it's a podcast. My brain almost felt weird being like, let me watch my own podcast back, like it just kind of, it actually goes back to a really good joke by one of my favorite comedians, Donald Glover, who is known better in the music world as Childish Gambino. And he was Troy on, very famously on the show Community. And he's a comedian, and he talks about one of his jokes. He talks about how he was listening to his own music and he went to go pick somebody up. And the guy got in the car and was like, "Are you listening to your own music? You're such a weirdo," right? So I feel like that's made me self-conscious to not listen to my own self, because then I'm like, these people are like, "You're a weirdo. Why are you listening to yourself?" Like, geez. But Justin Roberts said it, so it must be true. And now I'm like, does anybody else do this? So I can feel less weird about listening to myself, I guess. That's really where I'm going.
No, yeah. I think, well, as wrestlers, we're kind of encouraged to watch stuff back, to see what we did. Sometimes we watch it back with our coaches. Sometimes people will just send us match notes. Like, I've had that happen a few times. And yeah, it's just kind of part of being a wrestler is watching your stuff back or having someone watch your stuff back for you. Either or. Mostly you watching back your stuff.
Right. And just get the idea of having notes there so you can, and I've seen so many guys walking around with notebooks, literally notebooks, and just putting things down on paper so they can remember, hey, this was a good idea, this wasn't a good idea, all that stuff. And you're saying you're getting notes back from people you've wrestled, and or we're talking about your coaches?
Mostly coaches, yeah. Let's say. Other than that, it's, if I want like feedback from my opponent, it would be more something I'd ask after the match. Or if my opponent wants feedback from me, it depends. If it's someone who is less developed than me, maybe I'll give them feedback. If it's someone more developed than me, then I'd ask from them, of course.
Right. I mean, most people aren't going to give advice or need to give advice to Donovan Dijak, that's for sure. So that's not a thing, guys.
I'm not going to say shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I don't need to eat those shots. It's just, again, that shit hurts.
Terrifying. He could be a terrifying man for sure. For sure.
It was fun though. It was fun though. No complaints.
I have a story, but I'll take it off air. What's for you? There has to be an intensity level, right? This is the question I was going to ask before. You've had your first year in the business. Has your, and you've taken notes, etc. Has your mindset at all changed after your first year? Has your training at all changed? Is your styling evolved? Like, what is it for you that you've changed in, like, let's say the last 7-8 months since having your rookie year being such a big breakout year for you? Like, is there anything mentally or physically speaking that you're trying to do to intensify or diversify?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to in ring, like, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm not, obviously, I don't want to say I'm there. I still think, keep training, keep improving and everything. But I think the one thing that can hold me back in the ring is my cardio. So that's something I've definitely been working on. I've been doing more runs, more stairmasters, stuff like that, just building my stamina. But I think my in-ring work is definitely my strong suit. And I think what I really want to work on in the next year is more character work, evolving my character, giving something more for people to get behind, whether it's like a catchphrase or something I do, if it's a stupid dance move or stupid saying or whatever the fuck. Wrestling's stupid, but it's fun. It's fun for people to get into. If I can find that stupid thing that works, I think that's the one. Sometimes sometimes I'm super creative or sometimes I'm not super creative. So it's just being able to find that one thing that works for me is what I really want to do next. And the other thing I want to do, and now that I got a new job, I might be able to do that sooner than later, is get new gear. I've had some ideas for entrance gear. and getting some new trunks that have a better design. So I think if all of that accumulated will turn me into a better superstar that can get me to another WWE tryout or to another promotion or somewhere I can get signed. Something that can take me to the next level. These are the steps I see that will help me get to that next.
Yeah, and when fresh gear helps, it's actually kind of funny how, I listen to a lot of Matt Cordona, and he's always talking about that, mostly because he wants another action figure that looks like him. So if he keeps changing his pants, they'll make more action figures. But it does help get the eyeballs, on the prize there, because you're upgrading, you're doing more, and you're evolving the character. So I think those are great things. I and this is actually something I had a conversation with someone last night about a very particular scenario, and now I'm wondering if this has happened to you. When it comes to train, right? And you're at the BioPro school, of course, right? Have
Yes.
you have you been in a situation where you're the like almost like the vet in the room, having to train some of the new guys coming in?
Yeah, here and there. Not
Here.
like all the time, but like I'm one of the higher ups in the school in terms of I haven't even like been training the longest. Like there's some people who've been, training longer than me who are also working matches. Some like everyone has their different paces, and sometimes it just clicks for certain people at different times. It kind of clicked kind of fast for me because I wanted it to click fast for me. So I think just that mindset of having it click fast for me is what helped. But yeah, I can help. I've led warm-ups before. I've led drills. I wouldn't I don't know if I could say I led drills, but like I've helped, demonstrate stuff and help other people with certain things. So in a way, yes.
Has that changed your mindset at all, now being the not the well, you're probably the youngest, maybe you're the youngest guy in the room still, but you're not the most inexperienced person, you're not the newest kid on the block, right? So has that changed your mindset at all? I'm always curious about that, because I myself go through training, and sometimes certain people who aren't exactly the 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 trainer, the coach, etc., will teach me things here or there, and I'm always like, I wonder if that, from a psychological standpoint, or a mental standpoint, or even a physical standpoint, if that has an impact on a person, because now you're going from your real there's got to be a law of returns, where one day you wake up and you realize, oh wow, I'm actually teaching people things. I'm actually so good at this, I can teach someone something. So do you have any of those moments?
I think so. Yeah, I think it makes me feel like a little bit more of a leader. I think I've um held myself to a certain standard that I can give it. I try not to give unsolicited advice, but I think I to the point where I can give advice without like stepping out of line, because some people will give unsolicited advice out of line. And I think when I was brand new to the business, I was talking to Pedro Donas, who's one of my favorite guys, and he was saying, listen to everything, but if that's someone you don't trust, you can listen to it, but that doesn't mean you have to use it. So listen. So I think listening to every advice you get, as he said, is a good way to go. But if it's someone that's like probably thinks they're better than they are, and aren't really holding themselves to the standard they're saying, they're more bark than bite, then you don't have to listen to them. But if it's a guy like a Donovan Dijak giving you advice, obviously that's stuff you want to listen to and use. So I think it comes down to something like that.
Which makes total sense. People have their opinions, and they're allowed to have their opinions, but sometimes you can take them with a grain of salt, and sometimes you can let it roll right over you, and then Sometimes you can have, I mean, the shot caller that's a pretty good guy to take advice from, I would say. So,
Oh yeah,
you know, it's great advice about taking advice, which is kind of fourth wall breaking there. But
yeah. I mean, hey, it's brought me so far.
yeah. Right. We shout out to that guy, man. He's
Shout out
a
Pedro.
teacher.
Yeah,
He's got his math YouTube thing going on and stuff. So good for him, man.
yeah,
He's supposed to be coming on this thing eventually. As always, as we would know, sometimes schedules just don't align, my friends. There's
it
nothing
is what
personal.
it is.
It is what it is, exactly.
Yeah, I know he's dealing with an injury right now, but yeah,
Right, right. So
former tech partner of mine. So
great guy. He's a great guy.
yeah, yeah,
I always love talking to him at shows too, picking his brain about stuff. So, which is kind of wild. I know, like they even say, like, let's say last night, Rebel Spirit, you know, JJ and I are most certainly the last set of fans in the building. Anybody else who's in the building is talent of some sort, and we never take it for granted. We're always super appreciative of the fact that people have time to chat with us, or while they're packing stuff up, whatever they're doing, they're like, just whatever. We're gonna be you know on the other side of that eventually whenever we can get into it. So one of these days we'll be packing it up with you, man. It'll be great.
there
I
you
love it.
go. Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Um so you know, I've I've said this to like 1,000 people. I want to say, especially because I went to Las Vegas recently and I was able to hang out with guys like Simon Miller and Zilla Fatu and all kinds of people in Las Vegas, people who wouldn't necessarily be as familiar with New England, but it was pretty incredible to be in the room with these guys. And um I want to say it was a conversation I had with Chris Bay of all people, and he was excited about the Open. I was telling him about the Open, and there was a lot of people who I would say that knew about the Open and what they do. Not everybody understood that it was permanently forever, every Thursday forever, but they knew it
yeah.
was consistent. And I feel like it certainly gives BioPro students one hell of a leg up on the competition. The idea that, marginally speaking, every Monday and Thursday you're at a show. You got the training on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, of course. I feel like I'm doing a commercial for you right now, BioPro. Um,
Yeah,
every Tuesday and Wednesday you can train with the best, and on Mondays and Thursdays they have shows where you can learn the rest. Boom, there you
it's
go.
true.
We'll clip
Yeah,
that.
join
So,
BioPro.
right, it's you dollar for dollar. I mean, that's a lot of um really great exposure. And I mean, you got to agree with that much, right? It's got to be
Oh yeah, big time.
right. And the idea for me is, what it comes down to is that it could really be almost like a pressure cooker of sorts, where someone like you can have a more successful career because of the fact that you're in this pressure cooker. And it can, yeah, that kind of environment can make or break people. But I mean, it sure as hell made you, and you're doing fantastic. So it works out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I I still can't believe how lucky I am. I was just happened to be 30 minutes away from all of this, able to just, hop right into one of the arguably the best promotion to, to get viewed by the higher ups, to get viewed by WWE or whatever, AEW, TNA, whatever the fuck you want to, whatever people want to go into. Um, they're watching Wrestling Open. So if you're
Right.
on, if you wrestle on Wrestling Open, you're being watched. Doesn't mean you're going to get signed because you're being watched. You have to be good. You have to be what they're looking for. But if you're on Wrestling Open, you're being watched. So it's quite literally the best place to get.
Yeah, which is why I was telling Simon Miller he should be down there for sure. He needs to cross the pond and come on, Simon. You know you said you'll do it, bro. Because I want to see that guy get signed. All right, I'm biased. I love you, Simon. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, if people haven't seen it yet, I don't know what they're doing. Go watch it now, especially like Monday nights or There was just June 5th. I mean, unfortunately, MJF got hurt. He had to back out, but you could do a lot worse than Andrade El Idolo is all I'm trying to say. Like, that was a stacked card. The idea of having, so many people
came on such short notice and he had a smile on his face the whole day. Like, he could have been an absolute asshole and no one really would have held it against him because it was star status. But from everything I heard, he was so professional and so nice. So,
which is, kudos to him. Kudos to him for being incredible like that. The fact that he replaced MJF literally at the last hour, showed up and did his job, put on a wonderful match, and crowds were going wild. And then the whole card, you got people like Bear Bronson, you got guys for WWE. Where else in the world are you going to see that kind of crossover appeal? Honestly, you don't really see it anywhere else where you have WWE talent in some regard. I mean, Aaron Rourke, who's the WWE Evolve ID champion, is frequently there. And I mean, after this last week, I mean, maybe he's going to be moving up in the world to NXT. I don't know. It's kind of feels that way.
We'll see.
We'll see. But the fact that have all of that wonderful talent in there and all the exposure that comes with it, and then you're sharing a locker room with these guys. You got to be able to pick somebody's brain at some point or hear something. There's got to be nuggets of wisdom, is what I'm saying. There's got to be nuggets of wisdom that fall out of the sky, or at least. And I know that can be a very from experience. That can be a very surreal experience, I should say. To just be able to say, hey, these are people that I'm actually working with, and I watched them on TV for the longest time. Or they've done these particular things. I know we were very excited for all of the folks that got to be part of the AEW show in Portland this past month as well. They were so, super fan John Austin, Vile, Selena. There were so many people that got to do, the Shooter Boys. We love the Shooter Boys. All these people, wonderful guys, they got to do all kinds of stuff. And it's always great to see people succeed. That's for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we've kind of danced around it forever, and I wanted to make it the big one. So I know that there's always the curtain to an extent, but the big thing that happened, which is incredible and insane, and obviously kudos to you for the fact that you were in your first year and you got a WWE tryout, right? What can you tell the audience about that whole experience?
I can tell you it was absolutely fucking nuts. It was one hell of an experience, being flown out to Florida, being in the actual WWE Performance Center and just, seeing all the active NXT superstars around, some from WWE too, getting their extra training hours in. It was just unreal, seeing all these guys you see on TV, seeing some of the newly signed talent that maybe was like an NIL athlete that is being trained how to wrestle. It was just unreal. It was the best way I've been able to describe it is it was like college for wrestling. It was but it was from Monday to Friday, and to give you a basic format of how the week worked, Monday, I remember we did our medicals, we cut promos, And that's we did some like performance based stuff like running like 10-meter sprint or something like that, like vertical, all that stuff, testing like your physical ability to a degree, and doing like basic blow up drills, stuff like that. Tuesday, I remember we had our first matches as talent, at the indie talent, we had matches and we'd watch tape with like Sean Spears or who was, I think Josh Briggs did the second day, which we did on Wednesday. And then um, we got to go to NXT that night, which was sick, seeing all the people we were just walking around performing live on TV. And then Wednesday, it was more matches. It was kind of the same format as Tuesday and Wednesday were kind of the same format. And then Thursday was also a similar format to like Monday, where we did the promo and then we did the blow up drills. We were like walking in the ring and stuff like that. And then Friday, they had like their own like live show, PC Live, basically. And a bunch of the tryout guys would wrestle like NXT talent, which I thought was really cool. I got to wrestle Brooks Jensen, which was a very cool experience. And yeah, I mean, it was a fun week. It was cool that I got to see some of the people I met there get signed. I'm very happy for all of them. Who got signed from my tryout again? I think
Well, Santi, right? Weren't you there with Santi Rivera? I feel like I saw a picture of you guys together.
No. Oh, yeah, you're talking about
Jariel.
Jariel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jariel did. I'm happy for him. I knew him. One of the matches I did happened to be with him. I thought that was, cool because obviously I knew him. Jariel, Jimmy House, I know he got signed. Starboy Charlie. Was there someone else at my trial that got signed? I feel like I'm missing something. Anyways, there was a few NIL athletes who got signed as well, but I didn't know them as well. But yeah, they got signed. I'm very happy for them. And yeah, it was a great experience. I'm still super young, so that's stuff to learn. Like, given how inexperienced and young I am, the fact that I was there alone was, I think, I'm proud of what I did in that week. And even if I came up short, I know I'll be back there again, and I just won't come up short next time. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, some people go 10 years before they even get one, or some people never get one. So the fact that you got one in the first like year of your career, like that's a milestone, friend. That is insane. So many people sit there forever just wishing and hoping and praying they can at least get to the dance. So you made it to the dance. You seemingly learned a lot of stuff about yourself and everyone and the system, which is great. And you can apply some of that stuff. Recently I had on the podcast STD, the Stephen the Truth Douche, and he runs his camp that he has called Rise and Create in Northern Arizona. He happens to have ties with the Performance Center. And so basically he runs his camp the way the Performance Center runs. And anytime the Performance Center updates their rules and regulations and stuff, I guess he has ties with Sean Spears. So he basically just gets his information from them and he runs it that way. So most people would only get, that kind of, I should say, experience from someone else, but you got it from the Mecca of all places, right?
I did. Yeah.
Well, it's a for some people, just the idea of getting a tryout is a dream come true, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was unreal.
It's got to. I mean, such a surreal experience. I know I've definitely talked to a few people, but once again, the curtain is shut, my friends. So I'm not going to say their stuff on this podcast. I'll bring them on the podcast. They'll say their own shit. That's how that works, my friend.
Yeah.
I've had some people tell me some great things, and we've had some wonderful people. Obviously, we talked about Jariel Rivera, now called Santi Rivera because of the name change of the WWE. And the wonderful Ricky Smokes, who also came from Nepwa, and he brought Robert Stone in. on a Saturday when they were running NXT. I think it was in Plymouth. It was in Plymouth, like the Plymouth, Massachusetts area. He came back to Nepal and brought in Robert Stone, which was pretty cool for all of them. So, it's great. It's shout out to Ricky though. I love that guy. I got to shout out to Ricky because it's funny. JJ was doing a thing. She tagged 80 people on a post of I love my wrestling community. I love my wrestling family, stuff like that. And she was like, should I tag Ricky? Should I not tag Ricky? Should I tag Ricky? And I was like, listen, Ricky likes you, man. I don't know why you're not going to tag him. So she tagged him, and within 45 seconds, he already saw it and liked it. So I was like, I told you, kid. This guy.
Yeah, no, Ricky's the best. Also, his tag partner, Brad Baylor, he's someone who helped me out a lot with my tryout. He's like, yeah, if you need anything, if you need to talk about anything, like, I'm here for you, man. Like, so shout out to him for that. He's helped me a lot with that. And Ricky also played a huge role. They helped look out for me a little bit while I was there, and I was very appreciative of that.
Which is great. I personally have not really talked to Brad like much, if anything, but I've heard great things. Corey Von Quest was on the podcast this past week as we're recording, and he had nothing but wonderful things to say with their professional and personal relationship as well. So Swipe Right. I'm hoping they're still using that name. Maybe it's gone. Vanity Project is just the name now. I don't know. WWE does whatever it wants. That's how it works when you're the king of the universe.
Bro.
When you are the king of the universe, you just make up your own rules, guys. What do you want me to do? But yeah, no, it's honestly though, kudos on you. And I'm sure if I didn't ask about the tryout, somebody would be like, dude, you had him on, you didn't ask about the tryout. Come on, get it.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
It's because so many people are curious. And it's obviously, I've said it like 6 times in the past hour, and I've said it in previous episodes. There's a curtain. And people got to keep that curtain closed. But there are some people who, for whatever reason, vlog the shit out of it when they're there, and they put that stuff everywhere. So maybe that's on them. That's on them. That's all I'm saying. That's on them.
That's certainly not my thing.
not my style, but that's on them if they want to do that.
True. Yeah.
Who knows if they'll go back a second time is all I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, famously, let's be honest, guys. If the WWE wants the footage out, they'll put the footage out. All right.
Yeah,
we saw it with, I'm trying to think of her new Lizzie Rain, or her name was Rain Leverkusen. She had her video out, and that thing exploded all over the internet, where she was talking about being heavy metal. And that thing got so much viral play at that particular point. It was out of control. So, new name, Lizzie Rain. My brain's still getting used to it. Still getting used to the idea of name changes. I'm bad with names as it is, guys.
Yeah, me too. So,
well, especially, I mean, you meet so many people everywhere all the time, right? It's kind of I'm better with faces, if anything. Names, not so much.
For sure. Yeah, I'm the same way with faces.
So, I want to make sure you plug your stuff, right? So today's June 14th. I want to slice it out. I want to make sure. What do you have? Do you have anything big upcoming? I mean, I know we should. I talked to the handyman yesterday. We should certainly want to plug at least his 4th of July show, guys.
Yes.
Make sure you go to that, which is very impressive, by the way. It's very impressive that the handyman is so young and he's putting this whole thing together, and BioPro seems to be showing out for the handyman, and I love it so much. I got my tickets right away. And it's just very exciting. Wrestling on the 4th of July sounds like the American dream right there.
Oh yeah. No, 250 as well. So.
Yeah, and it's like a campsite or something. I had to look it up. Stafford Springs, Connecticut. And I want to say it's a campsite, so that's going to be exciting. But besides that, do you have any big things coming up in the next few months?
What do I have? I have Wrestling Open this Thursday, which would be the 18th. I have Beyond Wrestling, Heavy Metal Parking Lot at Ralph's Rock Diner. PvP on June 21st, Father's Day Classic. WFA on the 26th. I have Pro Wrestling Super Show on July 3rd. As you mentioned, the Handyman Show on the 4th. And that's all I can think of for now. Maybe it'll be on the Orange Cassidy show that Beyond is throwing next month. And if Rebel Spirit does a show next month, then I'll be on that too.
So are you going to be, you're going to be there for the WF Shade, the big show with Mick Foley?
I believe so, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I was, once again, I won't name names, but I was talking to somebody last night about that, and they were telling me basically WFA is going all out. This is going to be their big, this is their WrestleMania. This is their big one. You got to be there for it and all that stuff. So I'm excited. I know we'll be able to go because, I mean, marginally speaking, chaotic come first, guys. It's kind of how that works. But, you train there, you got to go there. So they go up, they come first. But luckily, it does. There's always, doesn't matter what day it is here in New England, there's always 47 other shows going on. There's always a conflict, and there's always you gotta have your pecking order of whether it's a promotion you like more or a wrestler you like more that you gotta go to. There was at least once again, we went to Rebel Spirit last night. We wanted to see, the BioPro students, the Nepwa students, Julie, Kayla for sure. But that doesn't mean there wasn't 62 other shows going on at the same time that we could have easily went to and had a great time. I mean, Pure Vanguard Wrestling, as of recording this, Nick Mitchell is the next episode dropping this coming Saturday, and he's as they say the Booker man there. So great guy though, love him to death.
Live Pro also ran yesterday, which I was also at. So I did a little double shot yesterday. But yeah, I mean, there's so many shows that run in this area. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Right. Is the Ralph's Rock Diner, I'm assuming that's going to be outside again?
Yeah. Unless it gets rained, which, God forbid. Then it might get moved to White Eagle.
Right.
So
right.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, the plan is to be outside.
Gotcha. I was going to say, those outside shows are always fun when you can have them, just because we don't get too much of that in New England since we're trapped in 7 months a year because of the cold. So it's always cool seeing the outside shows, right?
Yeah.
And you were at what was the first one, the first show you did yesterday?
Live Pro, Teddy Good show.
Was that outside as well?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I thought I had seen photographs of that being outside, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't talking out my butt at this point. But I had seen some great stuff, and there seemed to be a couple people who were doing the double shot yesterday. From
there was
what I've seen,
there was a lot. Yeah, at least half the show, honestly, from Live Pro.
It happens. I mean,
it does.
Last weekend there was APW and LPW, and there was a good amount of people double shot in that show. A lot of times there's the next gen guys. They also, do stuff at Focus Pro, so they'll be doubling up on that. So it's kind of wild. I mean, we as fans kind of did it a couple of weekends ago when we went to NOW and then went to Rebel Spirit. Granted, we didn't get to see we only got to see half the show, but it was great. You know what I mean? It was on the way home anyways. Whatever. We would have to technically drive by. We were in Agawam, so far out there. So far out there, man. It's wild. But well, it's just there's so much great wrestling going on in New England. We're spoiled. There's the bingo card for the day, guys. I got to put my bingo card in for the day. I know my JJ's in the her other room cringing when I say this one, but we are definitely spoiled in New England. We have not only some of the best promotions in the world, not only some of the best wrestling schools in the world, we have some of the best wrestlers in the world, and they're everywhere all at once. And it is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane to be trying to figure stuff out sometimes and just be like, we've had we even just as fans will have people like, you're coming to our show, right? You're coming to our show, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Let me look at the rest real quick. Hold on. Hold on. What was that thing? You just never know. You never know. I know I really want to see it beyond this past time for that big show. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. You gotta go where you gotta go, right?
It is what it is. Yeah.
Woo. All right. Well, coming up on this one, and I feel like I should ask it because we asked you this question, but unfortunately it cut out on the last when JJ asked you this question, when she asked you questions, it kind of cut out. So I'm curious if the robot got it right or not, and this will be my final one of the day.
Okay. Fire away.
Who are your dream opponents?
Dream opponents. Shit.
And you can have some people do like a top 3 and they pick indie versus non-indie or whatever. But when JJ asked you the question, for whatever reason, it cut out the name the first time you said it. And then when I went back and looked at the audio, it's like it assumed Roman Reigns. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. It just assumed Roman Reigns. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's, I don't know.
I think I did say Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick with that. I would also say Seth Rollins. I'm going to go active talent. So, because if we do dead, alive, retired, I don't think I could pick. So we'll go with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and then, shit, who else? I'm trying to think of someone that like we wouldn't have to do much, but he would still like go crazy at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Right.
I'd say those will be my answer.
Wait, what? I missed that.
I'd say those two would be my answer: Roman Reigns or Seth.
Which are great, you know. Someone's like, you're getting 2/3 of the Shield.
Yeah, almost.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think those would be my 2 picks.
I mean, with the accolades at least.
Yeah, because I the way I see it is Roman Reigns is probably the best storyteller, and the way I see it is Seth Rollins is probably the best worker. So I think I could do well with either of them.
Yeah, I know if we're thinking, I would also say my brain for, I mean, those are great. Obviously, it's your fucking answers. You can pick whoever you want, but my brain thought the Speedball. I think you guys could have a hell of a match because he does all kinds of Mike Bailey. He does all kinds of stuff. So I feel like you guys could do all kinds of fun shit. And I mean, to be fair, you guys get so much AEW talent. It wouldn't be too much of a shock.
No, not really. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
It's kind of right. It is kind of crazy though how much talent goes to the open like that. Like it's just it's like, I feel like it would be unbelievable if I hadn't seen it so many times. Like if somebody would say, "Hey, you could go to this place on a Monday night in Rhode Island and see any one of these number of AEW, TNA, or WWE, at least WWE talent," I'd be like, "There's no way. There's no way. Why wouldn't you care?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
It's absolutely incredible to see all the talent that goes to the open on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Which you can find on IWTV, ladies and gentlemen.
You can.
Right? You could definitely find IWTV. Pay your $10 a month. Like, how can you get that much wrestling anywhere else for $10 a month? I don't
Hard to say for me.
know. Which, I mean, I at least AEW is coming up with their own version of the app and their own app, and they're starting to scoop up people. It's kind of crazy to see Limitless is joining them. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how that reshapes or if it does any reshaping of the independent scene for having that ability to be on my AEW. That'll be insane. But
yeah, no, for sure.
All right, man. Once again,
All right,
it's been awesome talking to you as always. It's genuine pleasure. We always love seeing you at shows and stuff. Everyone, make sure you get the merchandise.
I have to restock. I'm out of a large through smalls, so that's on me once I restock. But yes, if you are XL or double XL, I got you. So
Boom. Which is crazy. I never heard anybody. I mean, maybe it's just me. They were calling you, E. They were using your initials last night, and I was just
EBJ.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's better for the slang.
Right. But I was like, the EBJ. I was just like, all right. Maybe it's a second shirt. He can put that on there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
maybe.
sticker. Maybe that's a sticker because that's less letters, so you can put it on a sticker and it's just EBJ with your face. Boom. Like, that's great.
Yeah. There you go.
They already accepted it as a possible nickname, so maybe they'll buy the sticker or whatever it is.
Maybe that can be my WWE name. We'll see.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, once again, thank you so much for being on for a second time. It's always a great time talking to you. And like I said, JJ and I love seeing you at the shows and just bugging you about nonsense for sure. That's what we do best.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Well, for everyone else, my brain I think I want to say the next person that is coming up is going to be Leroy Robinson. I want to say that's my next one. If not, it should be Flying Frank Milano. I can't remember off the top of my head right now which one of those two are the next on the card, but it should be one of those two, pending, as always, schedules. Let's be real, guys. Pending schedules.
Yeah,
Schedules
fair
are
enough.
Schedules are always changing. That's just the nature of the beast. It really is. So, all right. Well, once again, thank you so much. And for everybody else, you have a good day. Peace.